Hello, amazing people. Welcome to the show Money Matters with K. I remain your humble host, Godfrey Kelechiku Godfrey. And today we are doing a build-up from our last episode where we get to discuss your personal finance. I'm talking about budgeting. I'm talking about tracking your expenses, saving and building an emergency fund. And before we jump right into the conversation, here is a quick question for you. Have you ever gotten to the end of the month and you get to wonder and ask yourself, where did all my money go to? Or maybe even at the beginning of the month. If you are always in that shoe, this show is this particular episode is just for you. So sit back and relax, don't go anywhere. I have two amazing guests who are financial experts in the Nigerian scene who are going to help you table out your finance for you. So don't go anywhere, stay back on the show and we'll be right back in a minute. Hello, amazing people. My name is Godfrey Kelechiku Godfrey, and you can call me K. I am a banker with over a decade experience with Nigeria's foremost financial institution, a certified financial educator, a young man with an acumen for business and financial intelligence. Let's just say I am the first financial educator you should have met and the last you'll ever need. I am the host of Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa, where we discuss your money, my money, and the government's money. Without further much ado, let's get the show on the road. Welcome back to the show. It's time to get your finance into control and not let your finance control you. And joining us today are two amazing, important guests in the financial scene in Nigeria. On my left, I have the delectable Dami, the Naija money babe. Hi Dami. It's amazing to bring you on the show. It's amazing having you here. I love your smile. Amazing, billionaire Dami. And to my right, I have Olori Adewale Flex of the Money Flex tribe. Hi Olori.
Hi.
Oh, beautiful Olori.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So diving into what we have on ground today. So we have situations where many Nigerians, they make money, the income comes in, the inflow comes in, but at the end of the period, there is nothing to show for it. And this is where, we have so many issues, underlying issues with people with their finance in particular. So in a nutshell, Olori, can you help me? Can you tell the audience or can you tell the people what budgeting or the act of budgeting really is?
Okay, thank you, Kay, for that question. Well, basically, one of the major problems we have when it comes to our finances, it's actually lack of budgeting. When I mean lack of budgeting, it's just same way as you going all the way to Guagalada, then you now decide to take Zuba. It's a wrong route. Okay, that's you not having the right roadmap. So the heart of budgeting is just a roadmap that says where your money goes. It's a roadmap that shows how you do your spending, how your expenses is, how your total income is as well.
There's always this saying that a budget is a plan, is a plan to tailor your expenses. But here's what people don't really get. How can you tailor what you've not measured?
Exactly.
And the only way to do that is by tracking your expenses. Yeah. So Naija money babe, Dami, tell me, how do you think that is the best way someone can actually, track their expenses? I mean, Nigeria is in a situation whereby it's just spend as you go. So in such a situation, how can someone track their expenses?
Like she said, that's budgeting, and how you can track it. You have to. It's something that comes from the inward. You have to be actually sincere with yourself in everything, because you have to ask yourself, calculate how much you earn, your total income. If it's monthly, if it's weekly, you have to calculate that, know it, and then list all your expenses, everything. Go through your statements and check it out. And then you have to now categorize your expenses, because there are different types of expenses. Yeah, so there's the fixed expenses like your rent, like mortgage. Then there's the variables. Those are like maybe your monthly utilities. It can change month to month. Then there's a periodic expense. That's things that happen occasionally. Maybe like vacation and all that. You have to plan. You have to even know that these expenses will occur or emergency. You have to plan for that.
Okay.
For you to, you know, have a true picture of where your money is going to, first of all. And then after you do those 3 steps, then you should set a financial goal for yourself. And this also has to come, it has to do with your priorities. Are you trying to set off some debts, or are you trying to save for maybe investment or something? And then finally, just track and adjust, monitor what you have done, what you've written out for yourself, and adjust accordingly, according to how your expenses and income changes.
Okay, so help me out on this. If I was to track, right, do I track with my bank statements, or do I write them down? In what particular, which one works more better, or is there an app I can use to now start tracking all my expenses? Because this is very hard to do, very hard to do.
So, yeah, I know that there are some apps. There used to be an app I used to use, but I think it's fizzled out. But I know there are some apps. But the best way is go to your bank or generate your statement online. Sit down with it. It's you and yourself.
Right.
Check where your money goes. The bulk of what you're spending on. You see it on clothes, on shoes, on food, whatever it is. Then you write it out, because when you also write, it helps your brain to, it tricks your brain to knowing what is going on. So if you just read it through, you just have it at the back of your mind. But when you write it out, you understand. You know, you start to feel it that so all this money I'm spending on restaurants, this is where it's going to. You get. So yeah, just do that. And if you can also get an app that will help you, that means that one you have to be inputting all your spendings in it every minute, every time.
So basically, the idea of even tracking expenses has to do with self-discipline.
Oh yes.
But it's finance we're talking about. What does discipline have to do with finance to start
It
with?
has a lot to do with everything in your life. Even when you're trying to lose weight, it's all you stick to a diet, stick to a routine. If you want to have financial freedom, you have to be disciplined. You cannot just be an impulse spender and think you'll be rich one day. You can't just enter a mall and you were supposed to buy maybe a bottle of drink, and then because you're seeing dresses or something, decide to do that. No, you have to discipline yourself in anything generally.
Okay, so now we've categorized that a budget is not a punishment. It is there to help us enjoy life. So this budget we've been talking about, if I was to create a budget, how do I go about it? Dami, help me out. How do I? Because I've heard so many things about budgets. You know, there's this one they call the 50-30-20 principle. There's one they call the 30-day principle. There are so many things. And the honest truth is, what works for this person may not work for me. Because now we talked about how, you know, personal finances has to do with discipline. At the same point, I want to chip in that personal finance is different to people. Like what works for Mr. A does not work for Mr. B.
It has to do with your financial goals, like I said. It has to do with what you're aspiring or aiming to.
Okay.
Get.
So in that view, now we're looking at budgeting. What is the best way to actually budget, or how can I bring out an effective budget? Because I can make a budget and not stick to it. I can make a budget that will not even work. So how do I bring out a budget that works?
First of all, first things first, it has to be realistic.
Okay.
With yourself.
Realistic.
Yes, if you're realistic, that's when you will know your true income. Some people know their true income, but they still overspend and end up borrowing. Do you understand? So you have to be realistic. Then you have to, especially when it comes to savings and some bills, you should automate. Learn to automate some of this.
Automate your savings.
Yes, so that once your money comes in, once the income comes in, it goes to where you directed it to go to before you even start touching it for other things. And then be flexible. Like she said, if you make your budget flexible, you would allocate a portion for entertainment, for flexing, for enjoyment. Yes, so that it does not look like punishment thereabout. And yeah, basically I think those 3 steps are, if you have those three tips in your mind, you'll do better. You do better with your money.
Dami has told us quite some fascinating things that can help us, you know, in getting budgets up and running. Break it down for us. What are the techniques when it comes to budgeting?
The famous one we use a lot, which is the 50-30-20 rule, which is 50% to your needs. Your needs includes your house rents, you know, your feeding, all that.
I like food. I like food. Because no, seriously, once I spend a lot on food. I will not lie. So I don't have a budget for food, because what am I budgeting for when I know that food is needed for survival? But
you should budget for food.
30% of that 50% should go to now to your rent.
Oh my God.
Yes.
So what will I eat?
That's the thing. So the thing is, you need to prioritize what matters to you the most. Now, there is still needs.
Yes.
Okay? You can decide that, okay, this month, I want to, instead of fulfilling my needs, I want to convert the 30% that goes to my needs to food. Then you stock up your house. So there's this thing I do every month. So for month, sorry. So the thing is, every month, there's this thing I do. I bulk buy.
Okay.
Every month. So I just close my eyes and just take a particular amount and just buy these things. All through the month, I don't spend money on food. I just use
and
what
this
I
bulk
have.
buy will like take you for like the next 2, 3
Yes,
months.
for weeks. Don't mind me, it's just me and my husband. But regardless,
Okay.
we spend. I cook every day. I rarely eat out. So I cook every day, even at that.
Which is actually quite cheaper.
Yes, it's cheap. You save money.
Hey,
Rather than going to the market every seven days to go and buy new things. The price is now changing.
You know, for me, when every restaurant in town knows you, I think that's
I used to
actually.
live that life.
Everything to the
I used
fire.
to live like myself and my friends actually had this culture that we visit every new restaurant in Abuja at some point. It was very funny, but we were doing it. But at some point, the bank account was crying.
Exactly what I was about to say.
But that time too. So there's a time in our lives. I always say I have humble beginning. Okay. I have my days that I started very, long. No, I was managing my money. At that point, what I had was very, very important to me because that money I mean is very little. Exactly. So, but later we grew. In course of career, we started making money. So there's this thing we call lifestyle inflation.
Okay.
Because it's unintentional. It wasn't
The more
planned.
you earn, the more you spend.
Exactly. So this thing you can actually put it depends on you. Like I said earlier, prioritize what matters the most. Is it food that you like the most? Prioritize. If it's clothes too, you told me.
All right. Let's hold that while we go on a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be looking at how even if you earn 200,000 naira, we're going to make a schedule for you. We're going to work out if you earn 200,000 naira, how you can create a budget for 200,000 naira on Money Matters VK. I still remain Kelechi Godfrey. I'll see you back in a minute.
Welcome to Candid Conversations. This is that show that offers unfiltered glimpse into the real stories of some of today's most impactful leaders. In a world that often celebrates the final products of success, Candid Conversations takes you behind the scenes to uncover the personal struggles, doubts, fears, failures that have shaped the leaders we admire today. In each episode, we sit down with people who have made their mark across different industries: media, politics, entertainment, business, entrepreneurship, and beyond. And we have honest, thought-provoking conversations around their personal and professional journeys. The goal of the show is simple. It is to go beyond their accomplishments and accolades and uncover the raw, emotional stories that rarely make the headlines. My name is Blessing Okebe, your host, and this show is coming to you live from Universal TV Africa. Let's get into these conversations.
Hello, amazing people. My name is Godfrey, Kelechi Godfrey, and you can call me K. I am a banker with over a decade experience with Nigeria's foremost financial institution, a certified financial educator, a young man with an acumen for business and financial intelligence. Let's just say I am the first financial educator you should have met and the last you'll ever need. I am the host of Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa, where we discuss your money, my money, and the government's money. Without further much ado, let's get the show on the road. Welcome back to the show. This is still Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa. And I still have two amazing of Nigeria's financial experts with me in the house. Oluri Adewale Flex and Dami, the Niger Money Babe. So quickly, without further much ado, we want to dissect how someone who earns 200,000 can build an effective budget. And ladies, I will need your help. So now, let's looking at the 50-30-20 principle we talked about, right? So if I was earning 200,000, how do I budget with it? Now, you know that we're looking at rent too. house rent. And there's this unspoken rule in finance that says if you earn a particular amount, your house rent should not be times three of
times
that
this
amount. Because let's say I earn 200K, my house rent should not be more than 600,000. So at least I can pay the money, I can save this month, pay the remaining balance with pay from the salary that comes in, and maybe if possible I can borrow extra 200. When my salary comes in, I can pay back. So that's one unspoken rule about finance that I've really held on tightly. We are looking at 200,000. How do we budget with 200,000 naira, ladies?
Okay, so we're using the 50, 30, 20 rules. So that means 50% of the 200,000, that's 100K.
Yes.
Will go into your needs. Your needs, like she said, includes your feeding, your transportation, housing, your rent. Yes. No, clothes. I don't want to put clothes under needs. Okay. I think that's
so clothes are not like in the category of needs.
It depends. So it depends on
Because I
everybody's
need to look
individual.
good.
But you have clothes.
You have clothes.
Do you not have the basic clothes? So anything you're adding to what you have,
Okay,
to me,
so
I think should be want.
Ashwebi is not a need.
Ashwebi is a want.
It's not. It's not.
If Ashwebi, I don't even know if we can look for another category for it.
but you know that these are most when occasions
expense.
happen. For every occasion, there is always an attire to go with.
Yeah, but so that's why people should learn to live within their means. If your friend is giving you Ashwebi, it's not compulsory for you to buy it. But although I know there are some events they tell you the Ashwebi is the invite, yes. But if you can avoid it, if you cannot afford it, then why go? Why do it? Why buy it? If your money for food, you budgeted say 50K for food for the month, and somebody is asking you to bring that 50K for Ashwebi, I don't see the sense in that.
Like we say in finance, you keep 30% of your need for rent, but it can't always work like that.
Okay.
You get, because when we talk about feeding, food,
yes,
the price there's fluctuations in prices of food. So meaning that if you can,
and also with transportation,
the same thing exactly. So because these these expenses are actually
Not
variable.
fixed,
They're not fixed. But your rent is fixed.
your rent is fixed.
So you have control over that.
Over the
But you don't have control over the money for the food and for your transportation, because it's fluctuating. Okay. So basically, since you have 30% of
the
50% that's supposed to go to your rent.
Okay. So let's imagine
30,000.
this as 100,000 naira now. We've brought out the 50%, which is 100,000 naira. So 30% of that 100,000, which is 30,000, goes to rent. Okay, so we have rent sorted out. So I still have 70,000 naira left.
Exactly.
So how do I do the 70,000?
You can split it into two.
Now, it's not going to be two equal parts.
You can decide.
How
it depends
you
on
want
you.
to split
Depends
it.
on you.
Everything depends on individuals.
Okay.
And even needs depends on individuals. Some people's needs, for me, I will use myself as an example. Yes, rent is a need, but because I don't pay rent, I would rather use the money for something else.
Okay.
For some people, their monthly medicine drugs is a need.
Yes.
Do you understand? So, like I said, this budgeting and financial thing, everything has to do with individuals, your priorities, set your priorities. That's why I said, list out all your expenses. When you list it, then you categorize it so that you know so you know your priorities, and then you base your budgeting based on that.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
So yeah, if we have the remaining 70,000, you can either split it, or for people like us that eat out a lot, we can
Do not remind me of my sins, please.
we can decide to say, I'll take a larger chunk for food.
Okay.
But you would also have to either trek to the place or however for your car, however. But everything has to do with how you how you prioritize, basically.
Okay. So we've looked at the angle of needs. We are the things we need for survival, which are essential. Now let's look at the angle of wants. So now we have 30,000 naira. Is it 30?
Yes.
We have 30,000 naira. No,
that's
60,000 naira.
60,000
naira of wants. So time out with the boys, 60K. That's too much.
That's
That's too much. That's 6K. That's like for a month, though.
a month.
It's too
No,
much.
but you see,
If I
now,
spend
like,
10K every week times 4, that's 40K now.
no.
Must I go out every week?
The thing is,
That's your that's your own
no,
preference.
you see, when wants is also, we also have dependents.
Okay.
It
You also have
falls-
dependents,
yeah.
and they are not a need. They can also fall into categories of wants. You have dependents. You have families that, of course, will look up to you.
Okay,
that
we're
need
looking at
money
angle
from
of
you.
black tax.
Exactly. So these people now, where do you take the money from? It's not just enjoyment. It's not just entertaining yourself, living big. If your mom asking for 20K now, you have 60,000 to enjoy with the boys. Where will you remove that money from? Of course, you can't remove it from your needs. Because
Okay.
there's no even point there that you would remove it. And there are some miscellaneous expenses. Repairs.
Unforeseen.
Repairs.
Repairs.
True.
Like, you can just wake up and, the drainage in your house just says to
Back
show
home.
you drama.
Like, oh, your car.
your
just-
car.
your car.
Exactly. Those things are still going to be under that one. So that 60,000 is not just for you to entertainment alone.
Okay.
It's for you to cater for miscellaneous. You get dependence. You see, that spreadsheet is very, very important.
True.
You
I agree
must
with you.
do it. Because that is the only way you can know where really these monies are
Where
going
your
to.
money is going to.
For me, I have fixed amount I send to my mom every month. Okay?
What
I
a
have
good
it.
child.
Aside from that,
No, we need to
it's
emulate that.
family.
We need to emulate
You
that.
need to emulate
Yeah,
that.
Send money. What are you telling me? Come on.
Then
Come on.
gifts. Part of your want is gifts.
It's a gift.
Okay.
Gifting people. Yeah.
Gifting people. Somebody celebrate birthday and they're good to you. Your mentors.
Somebody give
Part of your want is also courses, certifications.
True.
Good.
I agree with
You
you.
knowledge. You're getting knowledge.
And
So all these
investing
things
in
are all
yourself.
want. So it's not just about entertainment. Okay, it's not like beer alone.
Going
It's
for
like
big runs.
So you can think about what are in it. You get sometimes. Do you know that some of your wants can actually be assets? That's why we have stocks. That's why we have mutual funds. Okay, it's not all the time that you would be
why we
taking
have
your
gold.
20 gold. Exactly. Daddy was talking about gold one time like that.
She looks like you.
You get
looks like
so,
gold.
but you see, my investment, that one is to buy one nice stock that's coming out in IPO, this one, something that is going to generate more money.
More money for
So
you.
you can take cost sometimes and to not generate money. You know how this
But you
is
know, on the long
on
run.
the long run, long run is far now. Long run is far. You get when we talk about investment, you see federal government savings bond coming out every month. You will see treasury bills.
Stop rates on treasury bills.
So exactly, all these things are coming out every month. That is where that investment. That's 20% that's money. Go and push it there.
Go and push it
Go
down.
and push it there. Don't tell me you're taking because you want to invest in yourself. I'm investing in knowledge. You not take the 20%.
because you also hang out with the boys.
You will not go and hang out with the money
But
for the
come
one.
on, but come on. I need to hang out with my boys once.
Please, it's not every
Yeah,
day.
once you make your budget flexible.
Yes.
You'll hang out.
So let's look at the final 20%, which is for savings. Why do we really need to save?
For rainy days.
See, if you don't save,
If rain is falling, I carry umbrella now.
If umbrella lost.
the thing is, have
My
you
umbrella have
ever
not lost, it exhaust me.
Okay, have you ever experienced financial stress? Where you sit and you sleep and you cannot sleep.
When you sit and you sleep and you cannot sleep.
When you're running a circle in your sleep,
when your
in your
brain, when your brain is
not
supposed to be
resting.
resting and your brain is working.
Because of no
When you
money.
are looking older than your age, just because
I mean, I'm not
you are
looking
in
older
a
than my age.
stress, you get in a financial burden, in a stress. Okay, that's why savings is very, very important. It's very, very important because you see, this life is filled with a lot of uncertainties. A lot of things happen. You can wake this morning, you can see something out of ordinary can just happen. What saves you?
Your
That's your
savings.
savings.
So my
But now
savings
it's
is
not
there
all
to
the
save
time.
me.
Now, like, another thing about savings
But you have to be
now
disciplined,
is
not
that
always go into it.
Every
Not all.
emergency is not emergency again. Now.
Wait, though. So every emergency is no longer an emergency.
Yes, now.
As long as it's not do or die.
Yes, he will die. That's the first question I ask when people ask me for honest money. Somebody I say, if I did not give you this money,
Will you
who will
die?
If nobody's going to die, there's not an emergency. If that situation can wait 1 week, 2 weeks,
It's not
by
an
then,
emergency.
it's not emergency again.
So it was
no.
never in the budget in
It
the
was
first
never
place.
in the budget. Exactly my point. So savings is very, very important. Okay, it gives you this stressless life. It makes you wake up every day with that smile on your face that you've done something good for yourself.
True.
Exactly. So savings is very, very important. Now, don't just save. Because see, when you save, inflation is there to take some of the money away from you. That's why we always preach. Investment, buy assets.
Buy assets.
Buy assets. Buy assets. So that's just it.
So, Olori, thank you so much. Thank you so much for those inputs. Dami, you were killing
Yes,
it. At some point, I was like, what is going on?
Really?
But we can't just, we can't just, continue without telling you the do's and the don'ts of your personal finance, especially when it comes to budgeting. So, for example, the do we have three do's for the show. Our number one do is track everything. Knowledge is power. Write down every expense, no matter how small. Our second one is pay yourself first by prioritizing your savings. Bring out something for yourself at the end of every month, so that when you're asking yourself, where did my money go to? You know, there's a piece
Backup.
left somewhere as a backup.
Yeah.
And the third one is be realistic. Set goals that align to your lifestyle and your income. Like Dami has been saying everything. Everyone has different priorities. Be realistic with the priorities you're setting for yourself. And now for the don'ts. Don't ignore your budget. Please, it's very, very important. Make it a living document and review it every now and then so that you can be flexible with it. Don't forget about your emergency savings. Life happens, plan for it. And Olori said something. It's not every emergency that is an emergency. If it can stay a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and nobody is dying, it is not really an emergency. It should just be planned for and be put into the budget. And last but not least, don't compare yourself to other people. Your budget is personal for you and for you alone. Stick to what works for you and your kind, for your family. Don't go and copy what Mr. A is doing in his house. Oh, Mr. A drinks bottled water every day. You now want to come and, let me not even go into it. And that's it for today on Money Matters with K. It's been an amazing one. Today, we really talked about taking control of your finance. And a huge thank you to our amazing guest, Olori Adewale Flex, and Dami, the Naija money chick. So stay safe, stay well, stay jiggy, and keep your steez up. See you same time, same place next week on Money Matters with K. My name is Godfrey Kelechi Godfrey. I am the first financial dictator you should have met and the last you'll ever need. Goodbye for now.